We're back, guys. If you missed last maybe 3 videos ago or so, I just got back with a huge canning haul, ready to do a whole bunch of winter canning. So what I've got going on right here, we're going to get started on making my first ever attempt at making some good homemade Boston baked beans. Never done it before. It definitely is a thing that's always in our pantry, but we've been having to buy it at the store when we want it. So I'm going to see if I can't follow the ball book, but maybe use some cooking techniques from some online websites that I reviewed to do kind of like copycat Boston baked beans or Bush's baked beans. So I've had these beans. We're doing it like a double batch. It's like 2 pounds of beans per pot. They've been soaking in water, I guess around 20 hours or so. So I'm gonna grab a couple other ingredients. We're gonna throw those in here, get these boiling, and then we're gonna get cooking up some yummy ham hocks. So let me grab those ingredients. I'll bring back and show you what I'm gonna throw in here. Okay, these are my fall carrots that have just been in the fridge since I harvested those. We're gonna throw in probably 2 carrots per pot. I'm gonna throw in 1 onion per pot, not chopped, just sliced and opened, and a head of garlic opened up, skins off, in the pot. And this is just for aromatics. These vegetables will be taken out when it's time for the next step. So just 3, hold on, you guys can't even see. 3 little carrots I put in there, just small carrots. I'm putting in half of the onions and 4 garlic cloves in each pot. 2 teaspoons of salt, and we'll bring this up to a boil, then let it simmer good for an hour. I think that's what it says. I get asked a lot what ball book I use. This is probably my favorite one. It's an oldie but a goodie. And I'm just following the beans Boston baked recipe, but I am incorporating just some of the tricks and tips that won't affect the safety of the canning method, just to give it better flavor. So it says, yes, cover and simmer until the skins begin to crack. And I think that's like right about an hour. So I'm gonna just bring it up to a boil and then cover and simmer. Whoops. So ham hocks out of the freezer. I just de-thawed those last night. I'm gonna have Todd chop them up, and then I think I'm gonna get out the Instapot, and we're gonna kind of saute that with some onions and kind of get some of the fat rendered and be ready then to combine all of this goodness when they're all done together. So Todd didn't like my idea of getting the Instapot out. He thought it was quite ridiculous. So
yeah, just to saute some pork.
I just don't like cooking on a very crowded stove,
so
and this stove is super crowded. Yes, just...
You need like diced cubes?
No, like big 1.5-inch chunks. And we're gonna do 4 onions because you really want for each recipe about a cup of chopped onions. So I guess we'll show you how this goes. I'm gonna go ahead and cover these and turn these down low. We'll let them simmer for about an hour. Okay, well, while Todd is wrapping up that, the beans are doing their pre-simmer. I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the yummy ingredients and get that pre-mixed. So I need, because I'm doubling it, the original recipe calls for 2/3 cup of molasses. I'm gonna be using 1 1/3. Is it open? Todd loves his baked beans cold. And if you cooked this recipe and didn't can it, would keep easily in the fridge for up to a week.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, that stuff is so dark.
I love it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my good. And then the recipe called for 2/3 cup of brown sugar. This recipe did, but the other recipes I researched did not call for that much, so I'm not going to use that much. Just because Todd is has to watch his sugar. I think this will be plenty sweet. Remember when I made all that brown sugar before Christmas? Do you remember how many jars I had? I had tons.
Yeah.
This is all I have left after the holidays. So if the recipe called for 2/3 and I would have to double it, I'll probably just use 2/3 for a base recipe. I mean a doubled recipe.
Want the onions and mixed in with the pork?
Yeah, please. All right. Whew, making a mess. Then we are going to add 2 teaspoons of dry mustard. So 4 teaspoons because I'm doubling that. Gotta talk to myself out loud while I cook. Okay, and this recipe does not call for black pepper, but other recipes did, so I'm gonna throw in some black pepper for good measure, and we need salt. Excuse me.
Oh no!
See, Beer Rachel, I just spilled all
You
that
broke our
salt.
butter, dude.
I did? Oh, gosh darn it. Hmm.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Aw, I've had you for a long time.
I just tried it.
Yeah. Man. Perfect timing for that shirt, Bill, I tell you what. Perfect timing.
Jeez.
I know.
It's okay.
Todd to the rescue.
Are you okay?
I'm perfectly fine. I'm just frustrated. All right, what am I missing? Oh, apple cider vinegar. This recipe does not call for apple cider vinegar, but the other one does. Man sakes alive, what are you gonna do? Don't be a Rachel. Okay, probably like 1/3 of a cup of apple cider vinegar. And that is gonna be our goodies. With this, we will use some of our bean water to make a slur, you know, enough juice to cover the beans while we bake it. And you're gonna reserve all of that bean water because this needs to cook for like 3 to 5 hours. And as the, you know, check it every hour, and you always want to keep those beans just under water. Not too much because you want the beans to brown, but you definitely want to keep it underwater. Oh, that smells yummy. And I am using my cast iron Dutch oven for cooking this all together because I really want that deep, 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 rich flavor built into it. Okay, I'm just going to transfer the onions and the ham hock pieces to my Dutch oven with a slotted spoon to try to minimize how much of that fat I get in here, because I definitely don't want my beans too fatty, but it's okay to have some for flavor, of course. This is the last of the ham hocks from those red wattles that we raised a couple of years ago. Oh, one other difference, let me pull you guys up here so I can see you. One other difference that I'm doing that the ball book doesn't call for is this process right here. Sauteing the onions and the ham hocks or bacon or, you know, salt pork, whatever you're gonna use. it just calls throwing it all together when you bake it. But to me, that was going to create quite a greasy, number one, baked bean using my ham hocks because they are quite fatty. And I really wanted the flavor of caramelized onions in it. All right, so I am now adding the beans to my pot that had my ham hocks and onions in it. The first pot I just dumped in. Ball book requires no rinsing of your beans. It says drain and reserve the liquid. And you're basically gonna wanna reserve enough liquid till it covers your beans. So I emptied one pot, now I'm gonna drain this one into that empty pot. We're gonna save all this yummy juice. And I hope I can fit all these beans in this Dutch oven. We shall see. And I just pulled out the carrots and the onion pieces, or not the onions, the carrots and the garlic pieces. Ooh, there's a carrot. But I left the onions because we really like onions. Oh. I might have to use 2 Dutch ovens to get this done. I need to add some of that liquid back into here. Not too soupy though. All right. Now, let's figure this out. So we need, that's probably 2/3 to 1/3 cup of the bean mixture. Let's see what we've got. Just over 2 cups of mix. Good stir in. And now we have to bake this for a really long time, like 3.5 to 5 hours or so. And all the while, probably every hour, I'll check it. And if the water level gets too low, I'm going to just top it off with some of that reserve bean liquid. And if I run out of reserve bean liquid, you can use broth or just boiling water. These will go in a 350 oven. So I'll probably check back from time to time and just give you guys an update on how it's cooking. But I probably will not get to canning these tonight. We'll see how tired I am. Otherwise, I might see you guys back in the morning. Ooh, that pot is heavy. Ooh, they're getting good and brown now. Nice and thick. Oh man, can you guys see that? Great. Oh man, nice. Todd, come see. And those look good.
Wow, yeah.
Like feel how thick and hearty they're stirring.
Yeah, good job.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna have so many beans.
You have to pressure can these?
Yeah.
Like long time?
No, like 30 minutes.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah, they're definitely turning out better in the cast iron pot though, aren't they?
These ones into there.
Do you think they'll fit? No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, I'll help you.
Okay.
You cook them longer still?
Yeah, about at least another hour. Good morning. We are back. Just brought the beans in from outside. I'm gonna get those warmed back up. In the meantime, I need to unload the dishwasher and get it loaded back so I can sterilize some jars, and get ready for canning up these beans. Okay, I just went through and actually took the lid off as I heard it warming up, and it was like rock solid. So I've added 1 pint of chicken broth to it, and I'm just working in some water just to thin it out a little bit so I can actually like put it in jars to can it. Wow. It really soaked in whatever juice was left while it cooled last night. So probably a good thing to take your time. So and I added just a little bit more salt and pepper too. Definitely still fantastic. But I think while I'm gonna have to just keep watching this while it warms back up and make sure it still has the right amount of liquid. So I'm just working in that water as I'm adding it. But that was a whole pint of chicken broth, and if I had ham broth, that would have probably been better, but I don't have any ham broth. Already got the water in the pressure canner. Gonna get that warmed up. Okie doke. Just a reminder, I know it might not be a long time in the video, but for me I started this about this time yesterday. Well, no, probably about 3 o'clock yesterday. And we started with 4 pounds of northern beans. And I probably filled that one a bit too much. Let's see, how much headspace are we supposed to go with? 1 inch. And like I said, it's a long process, but hands-on wise, it's not too bad. You know, it would be even faster if I followed the ball book and hadn't like browned and sauteed and caramelized the onions and browned the ham hocks ahead of time. But I think that that step's definitely going to be worth it for flavor purposes. So I'll see you guys back down here after I get everything filled. I have more jars in the dishwasher if I need them. And it's for pints, just to let you know ahead of time in case you need to go. It's like 20 minutes for pints, 10 pounds of pressure. Just throw a splash of white vinegar in there, and we'll get around here and get our jars. Alrighty. So I'll just bring you guys back. I'm going to bring this up to pressure, let it vent for 10 minutes, put my weighted gauge on it, and get it up to 10 pounds of pressure. Then we'll start our timer for 20 minutes. So the next time I see you will probably be when it's all said and done, and I'll bring you back and show you the end result. How about that? No more baked bean shopping for probably 2 years, as much as we eat baked beans. Not often, but a good handy 6 or 7 times a year we'll have baked beans. So how fun is that? Next up though, I will be thinking about which soup I want to make next. All right, let's see what we got. Nice. I'm not sure. It looks like it baked them more. Okay, so I just took the top rack out and they seem to seep a lot. Kind of like you would expect, I guess, pie filling. So maybe I would go even less than an inch of headspace. So I'm not quite sure why it did that exactly. And like, cause my water, I'll show you, is definitely brown tinged, and you can see it on the tops of the jars. So I'm gonna have to really check these after they cool and I can handle them, and make sure that everything's sealed properly. And I'm definitely seeing the air pockets, I guess, from the beans absorbing more of the liquid and juice. I don't know. If you guys have any thoughts, tell me. Let me show you though. So I don't know if you guys can see, I've got like spots of the brown juice on top of the jars. And you can see like the air gaps where the beans were. I definitely went through these. I'm gonna gently turn this one and you can see, oop, it's already stuck. See how it's seeped out? I've never cooked anything that's been quite this messy in the canner or had this much loss. I mean, I did everything just like the ball canning book said, you know, just, so I'm not quite sure what happened. Maybe it needed more liquid and not as thick, as just kind of a guess, or I'm not quite sure. I'm not too nervous about it. I'm gonna eat them as long as they seal fine, and you know, after 24 hours I'll come back and check. But if you guys have done Boston baked beans before and you're the expert, please fill us all in. What do we need to know from my first time doing it? If nothing else, guys, they taste amazing. Taste amazing. And what am I gonna do if it doesn't seal properly? I'm probably gonna eat what I want over the weekend, and anything else will just be stuck in the freezer and we'll freeze it. So thanks for coming along on my journey canning beans. I got lots more beans coming up, so stay tuned and I'll be bringing those videos to you here shortly. I love it. It's a bit big for me, but I would be glad to give it away. So we're gonna figure out a good giveaway sometime for this. Maybe next time I make a mistake.